Hey guys, Abe's here. I just thought I'd record this video kind of going over the Esperia Blade changes that are going to be coming up in patch 3.17.2. The footage you're seeing initially is going to be footage from 3.17.1. Just going to run a few tests on the blade here to see what the differences are between this patch and the next. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, let me pull up the actual Spectrum post that RSI put out regarding the next patch. So in 3.17.2, we're going to have some ship and weapon balancing. The feature team for vehicles integrated some balancing adjustments. The Vandal Blade, well, aka the Esperia Blade, is going to be retuned to be closer to the Aegis Gladius. It has always been a little bit faster forward, and I think they're changing that a bit to bring its lateral boost more in line with the Gladius. But the big change here is going to be to those plasma cannons. Right now in 3.17.1, the plasma cannon speed is 700 meters per second, while the repeaters on the blade have a 1400 meters per second speed. So it's 4 weapons, and 2 of them, well, half of them fire at a different speed than the other. So you can't really get a good aim with your pip. Even if your pip is on the target, you're only going to be hitting with those repeaters because the pip moves with the fastest velocity rounds, I believe. That might be backwards. But either way, you're only really going to be hitting the enemy with one of your weapon suite, not all of your weapons. So just going to do a little test video here. First test is going to be about the maneuverability changes. See if there's any changes in the forward boost, lateral boost, up and down strafe, as well as turn rate. And then also going to be taking a look at doing a low risk target bounty, just to kind of showcase the difference in your ability to land shots with the faster velocity on the plasma cannon rounds. It's just going to be a night and day for those, I believe. But everything else I'm still kind of curious about because they didn't really give us much numbers to work with here on the Spectrum post. So let's get right into it. First test is going to be the forward boost. So I'm going to measure the G's with boost and without boost. We'll start without boost. And if you have no idea what I mean by G's, there's a little indicator here on your HUD that shows you how many G's you're pulling when you're flying your ship. So let's do I'm just going to hold W, no boost. Looking at about 10.2 G's for forward momentum and 3.6 G's in the opposite direction. Now, once we go back down to 0, I'm going to try it with boost. So I'm going to hold shift before I even press W. And as you can see, 20.5 G's and then 7.3 G's on the retros. So about double with the boost. Double forward at least, not quite double going in reverse. But still very respectable amount of boost power there. Now I'm going to let my boost recharge a little bit. Put all my power to boost recharge. Let that come up. And now I'm going to do the exact same test, but this time side strafe. So I'm going to hold D on my keyboard. I'm not using a throttle or a stick or anything like that, just to make sure there's no discrepancy with me moving my hand faster on the stick or not. So it's just going to be keyboard, going to press D. Let's see how many G's it gets. 3.1 G's when we're moving to a strafe. And then if I let go here, of course, 3.1 G's in the other direction. It is symmetrical. So now I'm going to try it with boost. Again, holding shift before I press the key. We are looking at 6.3, so a little more than doubled the amount of G's in the strafe direction. So let that settle back down to 0. So those are our current numbers. Once it comes back down to 0, we will move on to our up and down strafes. So first test, I'm going to do the up strafe. Just going to hold spacebar with no boost. And as you can see, 6.3 G's with no boost. This is why it's always more recommended to, if you have to do a strafing maneuver in a dogfight, use your use your bottom thrusters to, hold spacebar, or if you're using your sticks, you want your ship moving upward and forward if you want the max speed. And then, of course, the downstrafe, as you just saw, it was 3.8 Gs if you're holding control or trying to strafe down. Now let's do it with some boost. Gonna hold shift, and I'll do the exact same test. Shift, spacebar. And as you can see, 12.7 Gs. That's quite respectable. I don't think that's as much as the Gladius or the Arrow, but it's still pretty darn good. I haven't actually tested the Gladius or the Arrow, so don't take my word on those ones. Once we're back down to 0, the other thing I wanted to test was doing a corkscrew. So corkscrew, I'm just going to hold the W key to move forward at a regular speed, and I'm also going to be holding the Q key and the space bar to see how many Gs we're going to be pulling. So in a corkscrew, we're pulling on average about 10 Gs until we got up to speed. It's going deck down. So while we were getting up to speed, it was about 10 Gs doing a corkscrew maneuver with no boost. And now I'm going to try the same thing with boost. And as you can see, it spiked up to 24, but then it quickly dropped down to an average of about 20 to 17. It gets lower as you accelerate, because you're not going to be pulling quite as many Gs moving in the one direction. Alright, let's settle it back down to 0. Next things next, we're going to look at weapon capacity. So if you have your ship balanced out, some people don't know that you can change the power on your ship. You could put power to weapons to increase their capacity as well as increase their recharge speed. Put power to shields to increase how fast your shields recharge. And then we've got your boost down here, which obviously makes your boost recharge faster. So if you have everything balanced out, you're not really going to get the benefits of having any one of them maxed out. The benefit of having your weapons maxed out is, like I said, increases your capacity. So as you saw, it went up to 21 rounds in the magazine for the cannons and 31 rounds in the magazine for the repeaters. Now let's say you have no power to the weapons. Let's say your full power shields or your mid power. The warlords, the cannons didn't really change in their capacity. They went down to 17, and the repeaters went to 25, 26. Next thing on the list, we're going to look at turn rate. So that's how fast you can kind of turn the nose, so to say. So exactly how I'm doing here. Now with mouse and keyboard, it might be a little tricky for me to do exact testing when comparing it to the next patch. So I'm going to do my best to start here on this asteroid cluster and then return back to it. Actually, I'm going to see if I can point at Grimhex or something. It's got to be around here somewhere. There it is. Yeah. Hey, look. There's a dead body there. That might be mine. So I'm going to move my mouse as best I can straight to the right as far as it'll go, and just see how long it takes for the ship to do a full 360. I'm going to do the same for an up as well. So let's do it. And we are back on target. Alright, now let's do it in the up and down. So straight up. And bam. Did a little bit of an overcorrection there, but I believe if we look at a side by side, we'll be able to tell if there's any difference between this patch and the next. So on to the next thing. We talked about weapon capacity, we talked about the Gs. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little low risk target bounty this patch, and then do another one next patch to see what the heck is going on with this ship, see if it's in a better spot than it is currently. So let's find a low risk target. Hey Pat, you're out of here. Looks like it's a bounty that is in atmosphere. Beautiful Daymar. Anakin Skywalker would hate this moon. Okay, let's go to this bounty with both the repeaters and cannons active, and that can kind of showcase how weird it is to have weapons on a ship that go different speeds. So the weapons go different velocities, making it pretty difficult to hit your target with all of your weapons at once. Man, this thing's pretty quick through the Daymar atmosphere. Alrighty, where is he? This thing has a horrible radar apparently. So if I get lucky on a first good pass and I line it up nice enough, it shouldn't matter that the weapons go at different speeds, because it's just going to be head on. Get it lined up there. And let her rip. Took a hit to the shields from a missile. Give her the old turnaround. Get our weapons back up. This poor Aurora. Just a little bit of boost to get past him. Let me get a beat on him. Atmosphere's fighting me. If you get close enough, it doesn't matter that the weapons go at different speed. But if you're fighting at more of a range, which is what most actual people will do, is they'll fight you at a range. If they know that you're using cannons, they'll kind of keep their distance to about 500 or more. So their repeaters can hit you, but you can't really hit them with your cannons. But NPCs don't really have that. So let's get out of here. I was able to make quick enough work of that Aurora. Took about 3 or 4 passes. And that was when I was right up on the Aurora. It's pretty impossible to miss. So we'll take a look at the differences in 3.17.2. So I will be back when that's around to do the rest of these tests. Okay, just like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator, I am back. Taking my first look at the Blade in 3.17.2, and the first thing I notice is it has landing gear now. I don't think they even announced anything about this, but the Blade now has landing gear, so it doesn't just float there anymore. That's cool. Guess they were doing more than just the weapons balancing on this thing. The landing gear does look pretty cool. It's like a bird's foot. Got the one toe in the back, 2 in the front, and then the nose, I guess, would be the middle toe. Anyways, let's get out of the hangar and test out the changes that they've done. Oh, and they've... Hold on. Did they make the little stick that lowered the seat down thicker too? I think they did. It looked a little more polished. That's exciting. They're polishing the ship up. So already you can see that the Warlord cannons have fewer shots in the magazine. It's down to 9. The Wasp I don't think changed very much. But let's get out of here and check this out a little more. Very bright outside of Grimhex. Look at that. Someone's lucky day. They'll spawn a prospector and they got a mining rock right in front of the hangar. I don't think I've ever seen that before. A lot of new things going on this patch. Alright, let's get out of here. I don't think the top speed changed at all, which is good because I don't think they said anything about it. Bye bye, Grimhex. You can kind of visually see the difference in the cannon's projectile speed too. You can tell that it's going the same speed as the repeaters now, which is amazing. And they made the damage into purely energy damage, as opposed to like partially energy, partially distortion. Now it's just pure energy damage. Alright, I think I might be far enough out here now. I'm going to turn off decoupled mode. And I'm going to pull up the little list of tests that I was doing. Alrighty. Wait for the ship to come to a complete stop here. I mean, we can already kind of see the reverse thrusters G-force without boost. And then with boost, hey, 7.7. Alrighty, so first test, I'm just going to move straight forward. And again, I'm on mouse and keyboard, so excuse my lousy fighting when I do the bounty hunt later. But it does help with making sure I've got consistency across the tests. So first test, I'm just going to hold W. We'll see what the G's look like. 12.9 without boost, and then the reverse thrusters 5.1 without boost, and then with boost, again, I'm going to hold shift before pressing W. So holding shift, W, 19.4 G's forward, and then 7.7 G's backwards with boost. Alrighty, now I'm going to try lateral. So I'm just going to hold the D key and move laterally to the right. Without boost, we're looking at 3.8. And then with boost, we're looking at 7.6. And that's in either direction, obviously. So we'll wait for it to come back to a complete halt. Alright, now I'm going to do the corkscrew G's test. And again, corkscrew is moving forward, holding spacebar, and spinning. So all of those movements at the same time, without boost and then with boost. So we are up around 12 without boost, and then it shoots up to like 20 with. I'll do that a few times to kind of average out the numbers. So the first key I will hold will be the roll key, and then I'll move forward, and then I'll hit space. Alright, so rolling forward, space, up to about 15, boost, shoots up to 20, and then we are at a constant rate of about 15 G's doing a corkscrew maneuver, which is pretty sizable. I think it was 13, but don't count me on that. I'll have to look over the footage to see what it was before. I'm not sure if there's any like sizable differences in performance yet. Alright, now, where's a big rock? There's a big rock. The first turn rate I'll do is just straight up and see how long it takes for me to get right back onto this rock, maybe at full speed. I don't think there's a difference in turn rate if you boost or not. So I'll just do it straight up. And 3, 2, 1. And stop. Okay, pretty, I don't know. I'd have to look at the video side by side to see if there's any difference. And now I'm going to move to the right for the same exact test. 3, 2, 1. And stop. Alright, so we'll get a side-by-side comparison to see how that looks. I doubt there's any like major difference. They definitely did some polish for the looks though, like the landing gear and the little ramp that you come up to get into the cockpit. And it seems a little, I don't know. I'll have to look at the footage side by side. But now I'm going to accept a bounty. Oh, actually, first things first, weapon capacity. So with default power settings, we're looking at 9 shots in the Warlords and 26 shots in the Wasps. And then if you put full power to weapons, you've got 11 shots in the Warlords and 31 shots in the Wasps. Now I also want to look at recharge rates, because previously, yeah, that is much better. Previously, the Wasp recharge rate was bugged or something. It was extremely slow. But now it looks like the recharge rate is what it should have been to begin with. I think they like bugged it. The Wasp had the recharge rate of the Warlords. It felt really weird how long it took the Wasps to recharge last patch, but I think they've worked that out this patch. Alright, either way, let me grab a bounty mission. I think that might be an atmospheric one, which is fine, because last patch I also did an atmospheric one. You know, you gotta give it to the Banu, or at least the Esperia. It's a good looking ship. Just very intimidating flying right at you. Very intimidating ship. Alright, let's see if we can see our target. Where is he? Is that him? Nope, that's his friend. Let's see if I can launch a few missiles at him. Get rid of his friend before he causes any trouble. Get a little closer. Get to about 5 kilometers and I'll launch these bad boys. And launch. That should take care of that Mustang. Yep. Alright. Let's see what this thing's guns are made of, this patch. Gotta put power to weapons so I can recharge. And in atmosphere, it is always best to... Oh my. That was much faster. And it was a little small fighter too. It was so much easier to hit those cannon shots. That was extremely fast. Okay, well, there's the bounty test. In atmosphere, too. Get a little low flying in while I'm here. Low flying on Daymar is always good to do. It's not very easy to do with mouse and keyboard. Can be done though. A little third person action. You know, it's a pretty ship. Some rolls. Ooh. Little backflip. Yeah. Fly along some dunes here. It feels like this thing just has so much boost now, too. Always fun to do some low flying. Okay. Put the landing gear down, see what the animation looks like. That's pretty fast. I kind of liked the hover, because it lets you, like, move across the ground like a speed bike. But you can't do that anymore with the physical landing gear. Kind of enjoyed the hover landing. But this is pretty cool, too. 'Cause, I mean, you really shouldn't have your landing gear down unless you're ready to land anyways. Very nice. Very nice. And now I'll get out of this ship and see what the exit animation looks like. I swear they made that bar thicker. But I could just be seeing things. Yeah, I think I'm just seeing things. It's probably the same as it was. Okay, there you go. That's testing the Blade in 17.2. Seems like it's going to be one of the better performing fighters now. Now that its guns are actually usable in dogfighting. Okay, like, comment, subscribe. Catch me in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you made it this long, I really appreciate the view time. So share it with some friends that were considering getting a Blade or earning some in-game currency to get this bad boy. Because it is definitely one of the better looking ships in the game currently. Just look at this thing. It's a beautiful beast. Yep. Check out my other videos. Like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching.
You move like a jaguar! Oh!